There were indicators in the way that I learned that pointed towards me being autistic. I'm a Gestalt learner, which isn't like the most well-known thing, but I think it leads into the fact that I'm also hyperlexic and have hyperlexia. Both of which are very autistic. Not saying that everyone that is hyperlexic or is a Gestalt learner is autistic, but most autistic people are Gestalt learners, and hyperlexia is a common trait of autism. When learning language, a Gestalt learner will learn chunks rather than the individual words. This is how I taught myself how to read so quickly at such a young age. I listened to what my parents read me, and then I memorized that and compared it to what I saw on the paper, and then learned it in chunks that way. I also learned language a lot by using songs, and I sang a lot. I have echolalia. I repeated what I said a lot. So like some kids will see truck, and then they can expand to big truck, and then like big red truck. Whereas I would hear someone be like, that's a pretty big truck, and then I would say, that's a pretty big truck. I was really fascinated with numbers and figures and symbols and letters and specific ones and what ones looked good together, what ones didn't. I repeated phrases and quotes and song lyrics. The easiest way for me to memorize something is to make a pattern out of it, or to find the pattern that's already in it and just see where it makes sense. Hyperlexia is classified as unusually advanced reading skills compared to the child's typical chronological development. Just a really good reader, really good at words. I'm not gonna lie, I think it makes me a really good English teacher. You guys have heard me talk about it before, I'm sure, but when I was in grade 11, I co-opted in a grade 1 classroom, and one of my biggest things that I did was read with the kids, and I taught them their sight words. And I loved teaching kids the patterns within words so that it helped them learn more words and quicker. Hyperlexia, though, is often coupled with not really fully understanding and using verbal communication. When I read the audiobook for American Girl, I said the whole thing, and I don't think I fumbled once on anything. I didn't really notice until they brought professional voice actors on to do scenes with me. And the amount of fumbling, the amount of, can we redo it? They pointed it out and they're like, Paige, how are you so good at this? I can read really well. Here's the thing though, doesn't mean I understand really well. Doesn't mean I comprehend what I'm reading. I can read the word. That doesn't mean I know what the word means or what the sentence may mean. At first in primary school, they're like, wow, we teach kids reading and this kid's really good at reading. So like this kid's advanced. And then as you get older, they're like, the comprehension in reading is not on par and it's becoming noticeable, but smart kid, so I don't really understand. Really good visual learner, really good with patterns. Not really good with verbal communication and understanding and using verbal communication. Traditional school can be really difficult, I think, for people like me because it wasn't taught in my correct chronological order. I spent a lot of years bored and then a lot of years excessively stressed. I'm gonna explain the Gestalt learning principle though a little bit more because I think it's really interesting. The idea is that a whole object is not the sum of its parts. It's the idea that the whole object is its own thing. It's the whole object. We learn through larger bits of language, and those larger bits of language have an emotional meaning to them. We then have to go from the big picture down to the more specific thing to properly communicate directly and specifically what we mean. Every experience is so different and so unique, and I have to describe it in words that I've never used before, so I don't know how to do it. I don't know what the best words are. All I have are patterns of words that I already have in my head that I can use. So that doesn't mean that what I'm saying is necessarily what I mean. It's just the words that I can come up with at the time that make sense in the pattern of words that I'm speaking. I think it makes it easier for me to memorize things because I see sentences more as a whole, like more as the sentence is the word. It's really easy to memorize songs, and it's really like frustrating and weird when someone doesn't sing a song properly because to me, like singing the whole thing, if I mess up, I'm not messing up on a word. I'm gonna mess up on the entire phrase or the section of where it goes, not the word. I think it also affects the way that I experience music. I'm a very musical person. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a dance teacher, especially with how I learn music and how I learn dance. For me, learning in a dance class, for example, it would be really difficult to have choreography that repeated, but you just didn't you had to remember when it repeated. It's easier for me to have specific choreography for each individual phrase or emphasize certain words. That is easier for me to memorize. But I thought you were really good with patterns. No, yeah, I'm really good with patterns. Like, I'll do the pattern thing well. But usually a choreography is not just like 2 moves back and forth, you know? If you bring something back, there's gonna be stuff in between, and then you bring it back. Maybe you bring different things back, especially if you have a really long contemporary or ballet piece. Like, I'm fine with the chunk, but then I gotta repeat the chunk. When do I repeat the chunk? I have to know the words or the change in music or something that happens that makes me know that that chunk is coming up. Differentiates to know that I have to move to the next chunk, that specific chunk. Because I don't work like that, I don't teach my students like that. If they ever have a pattern, I'm going to make them repeat the pattern over and over again. But I don't go from pattern to not pattern to pattern to not pattern. In music, to me, the music, not the lyrics and the words, is the pattern. It's a vibe. There has to be a vibe. I can't choreograph to any dance unless I can feel the vibe and I can sense moments. Like, oh, that would be real. That's a really good moment. That's a really good moment. I can't explain it. Sorry, I'm hyperlexic. I'm not good with verbal communication as much. Also autistic. You guys know this, okay? I'm just a very complex blend of neurons, etc. You know, all these carbon atoms I'm just borrowing. I borrow every day from the food that I eat. I know that I'm autistic, but that is just a label that humans came up with, that some humans had an opinion on, and then other humans have more opinions on other humans about this human opinion. I probably have like 25 different diagnoses in the DSM-5, which can be 100% helpful, but also I have OCD is one of those labels, and I don't like labels. I have PDA, pathological demand avoidance. I do not like anyone else labeling me. I don't think it's fair that some people's opinions ever get to decide something about me, because how do I know that those people's opinions are good and trustworthy and good? Like, how do I know that they're valid? They're just people. Everyone's just people. Everything is just people and their opinions. Yes, I am autistic. Yes, I have PDA. Yes, I have OCD. Yes, I have anxiety and depression and CPTSD and hyperlexia, ADHD and OCPD and probably BPD. I probably have EDS too. My joints hurt all the time, but I just call that a very complex blended nervous system. People ask, like, what do you know is autism and is ADHD and is OCD? How do you know which is which? You don't. You can't, because you are more complex than that. It's not that you are autism or you are ADHD or you are OCD. Autism is you. Whatever you are, that's what autism is. If you're autistic, you know, you don't have to fit the label. The label's there and you define it. It's not your job to fit the label. You define the label. I'm making that into a shirt or something. People also used to say to me, like, Paige, make sure that in your videos you say, I don't speak for everybody, so that people know that you don't speak for everybody. And I don't think I've ever said it super seriously, because I just think that's fucking dumb. I think that that's common sense. And so I'm not gonna say it anymore. If you think that my opinion, I'm trying to be like, this is what everyone thinks. I hope that you don't care that much, to be honest, about what I think. I hope that you find your own stuff, your own knowledge, do your own research, and I hope that you're happy and healthy. Don't worry about what I think. I don't worry about what you think. You don't worry about what I think. I share some of the stuff that I think, though. Anyway, pre-order my new book. Love you, bye. Thank you. This is the end of the video song. This video's to tell you the video's done. If you're hearing this, it's because the video's done. Go watch another one. Boop, boop. Have a good day. Love you so much. Bye.